Tonight, you are tired in a way that is hard to explain. Not just physically tired, though your body is tired too. It is the other kind of tired, the kind that has been building quietly for weeks, maybe months. The kind that comes from holding it all together on the outside, while something on the inside has been running on empty for a long time. You smiled today when you needed to. You kept going when you wanted to stop. You answered the messages, handled the responsibilities, showed up for the people around you. And no one could tell from the outside that you were carrying what you were carrying. But tonight, in the quiet, when the noise of the day has finally stopped and there is nothing left to distract you, it is all still there, the worry that keeps circling back, the fear you cannot quite name, the grief or the disappointment or the loneliness, or maybe all three at once, sitting on your chest in the dark, making rest feel like something that happens to other people. Maybe sleep itself has become hard. Maybe you close your eyes and the mind starts the replaying, the what-ifs, the things you should have said or done differently, the things waiting for you tomorrow that you don't feel ready for. Maybe you've been telling yourself that you'll feel better soon, that you just need to push through a little longer, that tomorrow will be easier, or next week, or once this particular season passes. And yet here you are again. Another night. Still carrying the same weight. Still hoping that somehow rest will find you before the alarm does. You have been carrying this. Quietly. Alone. And tonight, someone needs to know that. Welcome. You are safe here. This is a space where you do not have to hold it together. You do not have to be strong, or okay, or even particularly hopeful right now. You just have to be here, and you already are. So let's begin with something simple. Take one slow, deep breath in, hold it gently, and breathe out. Let your shoulders drop just a little. Let your hands open. Let the muscles around your eyes and jaw soften. You don't have to brace yourself right now. There is nothing here that requires your defenses. You came to the right place tonight, because in the next hour, we are going to do something together. We are going to remember what is already good. We are going to bring every fear, every ache, every sleepless thought before the one who holds them better than you can. And we are going to receive something that the day did not give you, but that this moment can. Peace, real peace. Not the kind that requires everything to be resolved first. The kind that comes while things are still undone. The kind that finds you exactly where you are. The kind that doesn't ask you to be further along than you are, or stronger than you feel, or more certain than the night allows. That peace is available to you right now. Not at the end of this prayer. Now. In this breath. In this moment of simply being willing to be still. But first, before we pray, let's take a moment to remember everything that is already a gift in your life. Close your eyes if you can, or let your gaze go soft, resting on nothing in particular, just the gentle dark behind your eyelids, or the dim quiet of wherever you are right now. And let's begin with something so simple, it almost seems too small to mention. You are breathing right now, in this moment, without effort, without thought. Your lungs are expanding and releasing. Your heart is beating. It has beaten tens of thousands of times today, faithful and steady, without ever asking you to remember to keep it going. Your body carried you through an entire day of thinking and feeling, and moving and deciding and holding on. Think about that for a moment. Even on the hardest days, the days when you felt like you had nothing left, your body kept showing up. It kept breathing. It kept circulating the blood. It kept digesting and moving and functioning, quietly faithful, asking nothing from you in return. It never stopped working on your behalf, not for a single second. That is not nothing. That is an extraordinary gift that most of us have never once said thank you for. So let's start there. Take a slow breath in, and in your heart, say these words. Thank you. Thank you for this breath. Thank you that I am still here. Thank you for a body that has carried me through today, even when today was hard. Thank you that my lungs filled and my heart beat, and I made it to this moment. Stay with that for a breath or two. Now think about where you are right now. A bed, a couch, a room with walls and a roof. Think about the warmth of a blanket or the pillow waiting for you. Think about what it means to have a place, a physical, actual place where you can lie down and be still. Think about the roof that didn't ask anything of you tonight, the walls that simply held the warmth in, the floor that caught you every time you walked across it today. These things are so ordinary, they become invisible. And yet without them, tonight would be completely different. For so many millions of people in this world, this is not guaranteed. And yet tonight, you have it. Thank God for shelter. Thank Him for warmth. Thank Him for a place to rest your body at the end of this day. Thank Him for the ordinary miracle of a safe place to sleep. Now think about water. Clean water. That came out of a tap today without you having to walk for it or worry about it. Think about food. Something that fueled your body, even if it was a small thing, even if you barely noticed it. Think about the glass of water on your nightstand, or the meal you had without thinking twice about where it came from. Think about the fact that provision came today, quietly, without fanfare, without requiring your attention, and your body received it. You did not go without the basics today. That is a mercy, a quiet, daily mercy that we forget to name because it arrives so reliably. Thank God for provision. Thank Him for the ordinary ways He has sustained you, so consistently, so faithfully, that you stopped noticing. Let yourself notice tonight. Now I want to ask you to think about one person. Just one. Someone who is in your life, or who has been in your life, whose presence has made things better. Someone who has loved you imperfectly, but genuinely. Someone whose name, or face, or voice comes to mind right now, without you having to search for it. Maybe they are close. Maybe they are far. Maybe you haven't spoken in a while. Maybe they are no longer here and you feel their absence more than their presence. And that is its own kind of gift, because it means they mattered. And love like that leaves something behind that absence cannot take away. Let yourself sit with this person for a moment. Think about one specific thing they gave you, a conversation, a moment of kindness, a time they showed up when it mattered. Think about the way their presence has shaped you in ways you may not even be fully aware of yet. The fact that you have known love. The fact that you are not a stranger to kindness. The fact that somewhere in your story, someone saw you and chose to stay. That is a grace that not everyone receives in equal measure. Thank God for them. Thank Him for the love that has reached you, in whatever form it has taken, from whatever direction it came. Now think about today specifically. I know today may have been hard. I am not going to ask you to pretend it wasn't. But somewhere inside today, somewhere small, somewhere easy to miss, there was a moment. Maybe it was the way the light looked at a particular time of day. Maybe it was a song that came on at exactly the right moment. Maybe it was a cup of tea that was the right temperature, or the smell of something familiar, or the feeling of stepping outside and finding the air cooler than you expected. Maybe it was a child laughing somewhere nearby, or a stranger who held a door, or one brief moment where the anxiety lifted just slightly and you felt, for a second, almost okay. God is in those moments. He puts them there on purpose. Small mercies, hidden in the ordinary hours, placed like lights along a dark path for the people willing to slow down, enough to see them. You are slowing down right now. You are seeing. Thank Him for the small things. Thank Him for the ordinary graces that hide in the corners of difficult days. Thank Him that even in the hardest hours, something gentle found its way through. And now, even if today stretched you, even if it took more than you felt you had to give, I want to ask you to find one more thing to be grateful for. Something that today proved about you. Maybe it proved that you are stronger than you thought, that you can hold more than you realized, that you kept going when stopping would have been easier, when no one would have blamed you for putting it all down and walking away. Maybe today proved that your love for someone is real, because love that costs something, love that requires you to keep showing up when the showing up is hard, that is love that means something. Or maybe today simply gave you this, the chance to still be here, still reaching toward grace, still willing to end the night in prayer instead of despair, still choosing, even in the exhaustion, to turn toward something larger than the weight you're carrying. That is not small. That is actually the whole thing. Thank God for this too. For the survival, for the willingness, for the quiet, unspectacular courage of showing up again when showing up was hard, for the fact that you are here, right now, in this moment, still reaching. Stay here for a moment, in this place of open hands, in this space where you've allowed yourself, even briefly, to receive. This is what gratitude does. It doesn't pretend the pain away. It doesn't demand that everything be fine before you can feel blessed. It doesn't require you to perform happiness you don't feel. It simply opens a small window in the middle of ordinary life and lets something light come through, even when the room is still dark. And right now, your heart is a little more open than it was 10 minutes ago, a little less braced, a little less defended, a little more willing to receive what this hour has for you. That is exactly where prayer begins. Now that your heart is open and grateful, let us bring everything you carry to God in prayer. Let us pray. Heavenly Father, I come to you tonight, Not because I have everything figured out. Not because I have been the person I want to be today. Or because I feel particularly close to you right now. I come to you the way a tired child comes to a parent at the end of a long day, with everything undone, everything aching, hands that have been too full, and a heart that has been trying too hard for too long. I don't come with anything polished. I come with the real version of me, the one that has been holding on by a thread in places that no one else could see, the one that smiled when it needed to, and then came home and sat in the quiet and felt the weight settle back in. I come simply because you are here, and because I need you. Lord, tonight I am going to be honest with you, because you already know, and there is no point in pretending. I am tired, not just the tired that one good night of sleep will fix. The deep, tired. The kind that settles into the bones after days and weeks and months of carrying things that were never meant to be carried alone. The tired that comes from holding everything together on the outside, while something inside has been quietly unraveling. The tired that comes from being the person other people lean on, without enough people for me to lean on in return. The tired that comes from pouring out, and wondering if the well will ever be filled again. You see that, don't you? You see the places where I am frayed, the places where I have smiled through things I didn't have the words for, the places where I have been strong because I felt I had no other option, not because the strength was really there. You see the version of me that no one else gets to see, the one that surfaces in the quiet moments when the performance is over and there is nothing left to maintain. You see all of it, and I don't have to explain it, or justify it, or apologize for it. I just have to let you see me. Here I am, Father, tired, honest, yours. Lord, I want to bring you the anxiety first. You know exactly what I mean. That particular feeling, the hum of dread that doesn't always attach itself to anything specific, the chest that tightens without warning, the mind that won't slow down when the lights go out, the way silence, which should be restful, sometimes becomes loud with every fear that was manageable during the day. It arrives so reliably, this anxiety, like it has been waiting for the quiet, like it knows exactly when my defenses are lowest and chooses that moment to speak. Tonight, Father, I give you my anxiety, not because I've conquered it, not because I feel like I've successfully let it go, but because I am choosing, right now, in this moment, to release my grip on it and place it in yours instead. You tell me in your word, cast all your anxiety on him, because he cares for you. He cares for you, not just for the outcome of the situation, not just for the problem to be solved, for you. The tired version of you, the anxious version of you, the version of you that is lying here in the dark, not sure how to get through tomorrow. He cares for that person, specifically, tenderly, without impatience. So I cast it now, Lord. I open my hands. I release the worry about the things I cannot control, the future that is not yet written, the outcomes I cannot predict, the doors that are closed, and the ones I don't know will ever open. I release it. I release the fear about my health, or the health of someone I love. The questions that don't have answers yet, the appointment not yet scheduled, or the result not yet received, or the bodhi that sometimes behaves in ways that frighten me. The not knowing that is sometimes harder than bad news would be. I release it. I release the weight of the relationship that is strained, the words that were said or not said, the distance that has grown, the love that feels harder to reach than it used to, the wanting things to be different and not knowing how to make them so. The conversations rehearsed in my head that never seem to happen in real life. I release it. I release the financial worry, the numbers that don't add up the way I need them to, the bills that feel bigger than what's in the account, the uncertainty about whether things will work out, and when, and how, and whether I am doing enough, or making the right decisions or missing something important. I release it. I release the loneliness, the feeling of moving through days where no one quite sees what's really happening on the inside, the smile that covers the weight, the way it is possible to be surrounded by people and still feel entirely alone, the longing to be truly known by someone, and the fear that if someone truly knew me, they might not choose to stay. I release it, Father. I give all of it to you right now, not because these things aren't real, not because they don't matter, but because I was not built to carry them alone. And another sleepless night under their weight is not what you made me for. You are big enough for every single thing I just named. Every fear, every worry, every unanswered question, every aching relationship, every number that doesn't add up, none of it surprises you. None of it overwhelms you. You are not uncertain about what to do with any of it. Take it. And Lord, even as I release those things, I want to acknowledge something. There is grief here too. Not just worry about the future, grief about things already lost, things that didn't turn out the way I hoped, doors that closed, people I miss, a version of my life that I had imagined that didn't come to be. The kind of loss that doesn't have a funeral, that no one marks or acknowledges, but that sits quietly in the chest and makes itself known in moments like this one. Father, I bring you the grief too. The losses I haven't had language for, the disappointments I pushed down because there wasn't time to feel them, the things I said I was fine about that I was not actually fine about. You are a God who weeps, a God who sat with grief and did not rush it, a God who called the mourning blessed, not the resolved mourning, not the mourning that had found its silver lining, but the mourning itself. So I bring you the unmourned things tonight, the losses that still have tender edges, the hopes that didn't survive, the spaces where something used to be that is no longer there. Hold them gently, Father, the way you hold all broken things, not to discard them, but to redeem them. Now, Lord, I ask you to speak peace over my body, every muscle that has been tense through this day. Let it soften now. Every place that has been braced for the next thing, the next crisis, the next demand, let it begin to release. My shoulders, my neck, the space behind my eyes, the tightness across my chest, the jaw I have been clenching without realizing it, the hands that have been holding on all day. Let them open now, slowly, one finger at a time. Let it all unwind, like a rope held under great strain that is slowly, carefully being loosened by patient hands. Like a knot that has been tight for so long it almost forgot what it felt like to be loose. And then, slowly, finds it remembers. Let my body remember that it is safe right now, that in this moment there is nothing it needs to brace against, that the threats of the day, real and imagined, do not have to follow it into sleep. You are a God who designed rest. You declared a day of rest holy. You built into the very rhythm of creation a cadence of work and ceasing, of effort and release. The stars do not burn without pause. The fields do not grow without fallow. Even the tides go out. And you promised sleep to those you love. Not as a reward for productivity, not as a prize for people who earned it, as a gift, a given thing, a grace extended to the beloved. You love me, and so I am allowed to receive the gift of sleep tonight. Not earn it, not negotiate for it, simply receive it the way a child receives being carried, by stopping the effort to walk and trusting the arms that have them. Father, there is something else I want to say, something about the fear of the night itself, not just the worries that come at night, but the night, the dark, the way the small hours can feel enormous, the way 3 a.m. has a gravity all its own, pulling every fear to the surface, making small things large and large things insurmountable. I want to tell you that I am sometimes afraid of my own mind in the quiet, that the silence, which should be peace, is sometimes the loudest place, and I bring that to you too. Not as a confession of weakness, but as an honest prayer. Guard the night for me, Father. Not just the sleep, the night itself. The hours before sleep comes. The moments of wakefulness in the middle. The early morning darkness that hasn't turned to dawn yet. Be present in all of it. Let your presence be a light in the night that needs no electricity. A warmth that needs no external source. A company that needs no noise to make itself known. You are here. You are here. You are here. Let me feel that, Father, even in the darkest hour. Father, I want to stay in the honest place for another moment, because there is something I haven't said yet. There is a part of me, and I suspect you already know this, that has been struggling not just with circumstances, but with faith itself, that has prayed and waited and listened, and sometimes the silence on the other end feels very long. That wonders in the quiet moments where you are, in the middle of what is hard. That wants to trust completely, but finds trust harder to sustain on the inside than it looks on the outside. Some nights the faith feels thin. Some nights the distance between what I believe and what I feel is wider than I want to admit. Some nights I pray, and it feels like speaking into a room I'm not sure is occupied. I am telling you this because I do not want to pray a performance tonight. I want to pray the real thing, and the real thing tonight is, I am trying. I am still showing up. I am still here, talking to you, even on a night when faith feels more like a decision than a feeling, even on a night when the devotion is more discipline than delight. And I believe, help me in the places where I struggle to believe. You do not require that I come to you perfected. You do not ask me to have it all sorted before I approach. You said, come to me, all who are weary and burdened, and I will give you rest, not when you are ready, not when you have earned it, not when your faith is strong enough. Come to me. Just come. And here I am, Father, still coming, still yours, bringing the thin faith alongside the tired body and the worn heart, and trusting that you receive all of it, not just the parts that look presentable. Lord, tonight I want to pray for sleep, not just the absence of wakefulness, but true, restorative rest. The kind that actually heals. The kind that reaches the parts of me that are worn down in ways I can't even fully identify. The kind that a person feels in the morning, not just in the body, but in the spirit. That sense of having been held through the night by something larger than themselves. Let my sleep tonight be that kind. The deep kind. The healing kind. The kind that ministers to the parts of me that no conversation or comfort or plan can reach. Only rest. Only stillness. Only the surrender of consciousness into your hands. Guard my mind as I sleep. You know how the thoughts arrive in the dark. The intrusive ones. The ones dressed up as logic that are really just fear in clever clothing. The ones that know exactly when to come and what buttons to press. The ones that spiral, one worry leading to another and another, until the mind has traveled somewhere far from peace and doesn't know how to find its way back. Stand at the threshold of my thoughts tonight. Let what is true and peaceful come through. Let what is anxious and false be turned away. Let the voice of fear be quieter tonight than the voice of your presence. Fill my sleep with rest, not with the day's worries replayed in different costumes. Fill it with the kind of quiet that knits something back together. Let tonight genuinely restore what the week has taken. And let me wake in the morning surprised, even a little, by how much better I feel. And Father, I want to pray for the people I love, the ones whose names are rising in my heart right now without me even trying to summon them. You know who they are. The ones I'm worried about. The ones who are sick or scared or going through something I wish I could fix but can't reach from here. Be near them tonight in the ways I cannot be. Be the presence that crosses every distance, geographical, relational, emotional, and finds them exactly where they are. Be the comfort I cannot offer from here. The answer I don't have. The peace that their own minds won't give them. The children, mine, or the ones I care for. Let them sleep without fear tonight. Let their small bodies rest easily. Let their minds be free of whatever worries have found their way in. Let tomorrow be a little gentler for them than today was. Protect their sleep, Father. Let them be held. The ones who are far away, hold them with the same hands that hold me. Let the distance feel smaller to them tonight. Let them feel, even without knowing why, a sense that they are not alone. The ones who are struggling, who are in their own hard seasons, their own sleepless nights, their own weight-bearing, meet them too, in whatever quiet they find tonight. And the ones I'm most worried about, Father, you know exactly who. I name them in my heart right now. I hold their names up to you, and I open my hands around them the same way I open my hands around my own worries. I release them into your care. I trust them to you, not because I have stopped caring, but because my caring is not enough for what they need, and yours is. Lord, one more thing before I rest. Forgive me for today. for the moments when I was less patient than I could have been, for the things left undone that I keep carrying as accusations against myself, for the words that weren't quite right, or the ones I chose not to say when I should have, for the times I let fear make my decisions instead of faith, for the places where I chose the easier thing when the truer thing was available, and forgive me for the ways I have been hard on myself, harder than you have ever been on me. The inner voice that keeps a ledger, the part of me that rehearses failures at night as though repetition might produce a different verdict. You are not that voice. You are not the accuser. You are not the one who keeps the record of wrongs. You are the one who, when you see a child coming home from far away, runs to meet them before they have finished their apology. Let me lay that down too. Let tonight not be a night of rehearsing my own failures. Let it be a night of release, of receiving, of letting the grace that you offer. Real grace. Actual grace. The grace that covers what I cannot fix and heals what I cannot reach. Let it be enough. Because it is enough. You said so. And as I rest in these words now, hear what God wants to whisper to your heart tonight. Be still. Let the prayer settle around you like something warm being placed gently over your shoulders. And now, listen. Because there are things that are true about you tonight. Things that do not change based on how you feel right now, or how difficult this day was, or how many things are still unresolved. They are simply, permanently, stubbornly true. And I want to speak them over you, slowly, one at a time. Let each one land. You are loved with a love that does not tire of you, not a love that rises and falls with your performance, not a love that got impatient while it was waiting for you to improve. The prophet Jeremiah heard God speak these words to a people who had wandered far and long, a people who had made mistakes that cost them greatly, who had every reason to believe they had exhausted the patience of God. I have loved you with an everlasting love. I have drawn you with unfailing kindness. Unfailing kindness. Think about what those two words mean together. Unfailing, which means it has never once stopped. Kindness, which means it comes toward you gently, not with accusation, not with a record of what you owe, but with a warmth that chooses you again and again, without requiring you to have earned it. A kindness that has never once stopped moving toward you. Even on the days you ran in the other direction, even on the nights you lay awake, convinced that you were beyond its reach. Even tonight, when you arrived here tired and uncertain, and holding more than you should be holding. It has never failed. Not once. Not on your worst day. Not in your longest season of wandering. Tonight, it is here. In this room. In this moment. Finding you exactly as you are. You did not have to be more put together to deserve this. You did not have to arrive differently. You just had to arrive. And you did. And that is enough. You are allowed to sleep tonight. You are not on guard duty. The psalmist wrote these words. And this is important. Not from a place of safety and ease. The Psalms were written by someone who had enemies. By someone who had experienced loss and genuine danger. And days when fear was not abstract, but immediate and real. By someone who knew what it was to lie awake in the dark and feel the weight of threats that were not imagined. And still, from that place, from the middle of the actual difficulty, not from the other side of it, they wrote, "I will lie down and sleep in peace. For you alone, O Lord, make me dwell in safety." I will lie down and sleep in peace. Not, I will lie down and try to sleep once all my problems are resolved. Not, I will sleep in peace once I've figured out what to do about tomorrow. Once the test results come back, once the relationship is repaired, once the money is in the account. Now, tonight, as things are, in the middle of the unresolved. Because safety, for the person who trusts in God, is not the absence of difficulty. It is not the guarantee that nothing bad will happen. It is the knowledge that the one watching over you does not sleep, and therefore you are covered in the hours when you cannot be your own watchman. He who watches over Israel will neither slumber nor sleep. He does not sleep. And so you are allowed to. You are not the last line of defense against whatever you are afraid of. You are not responsible for holding your own life together through the night by sheer force of wakefulness and worry. The one who never sleeps is already awake, already watching, already holding the morning that hasn't arrived yet. You are allowed to rest, not just permitted, invited, welcomed into rest the way a weary traveler is welcomed through a door and handed something warm and told to sit down. Sit down. You have been standing long enough. The mercy waiting for you tomorrow morning has already been prepared. This next truth was written in the middle of one of the darkest moments in the entire Bible. The Book of Lamentations, a book of mourning, of loss, of rubble and grief, contains words so beautiful they seem almost impossible in their context. Written by a man sitting in the ashes of everything that had been destroyed, surrounded by loss too large to comprehend, and still, from the rubble, he found this. Because of the Lord's great love, we are not consumed, for his compassions never fail. They are new every morning. Great is your faithfulness. New every morning. Not reused, not ration, not the leftover mercy from yesterday that didn't get fully spent. New, freshly prepared, generated specifically for tomorrow, for you, for whatever tomorrow turns out to contain. Think about what that means for tonight. You are lying here not knowing what tomorrow brings, and the not knowing is its own weight. The uncertainty about how things will unfold, whether the hard thing will get harder or begin to ease, whether tomorrow will be another day of carrying what you've been carrying, or whether something will shift. But here is what is true. Whatever tomorrow requires, grace has already been assigned to it. Mercy has already been prepared, the way a table is set before the guests arrive. It is waiting at the edge of the morning like the light that hasn't arrived yet, but is already on its way, already in motion, already certain, already yours. You don't need to figure out tomorrow tonight. You don't need to brace for it. You don't need to rehearse every possible outcome and prepare a response for each one. Tomorrow has its own provision, tonight has its own grace, and you have everything you need for right now. Let tomorrow be tomorrow. Let tonight be tonight. And let yourself rest in the space between them. You are seen in the places where you feel most invisible. There is a story in the book of Genesis about a woman named Hagar. A woman with very little power and very few options, who found herself alone in a desert with a child, at the end of everything she had. No resources, no rescue in sight, no reason to believe that anyone knew or cared where she was or what was happening to her. She was not a prominent person. She was not a person whose story anyone would have thought important enough to record. And yet her story is there. In the middle of the ancient text, God stops what he is doing, or what seems to us like what he is doing, and sees her. Not after she found her way out. Not once she had pulled herself together and managed the situation. In the middle of it, in the desert, in the heat, at the bottom of her capacity, when there was nothing left, God saw her. She gave him a name that day. A name so specific it has been preserved for thousands of years. El Roi, the God who sees. He sees you tonight. Not the version of you that people see during the day. The composed version, the capable version, the version that answers emails and takes care of things and seems to have it mostly together. He sees the version that only comes out in the quiet. The one lying here right now, tired and honest and carrying more than anyone knows. He sees the thing you are carrying, that you have never said out loud to another human being. He sees the grief that is still tender in places you try not to touch. He sees the loneliness that hides behind the composed exterior. He sees the faith that is more fragile tonight than you want to admit. He sees, and he has not looked away from a single moment of your life. Not the difficult moments, not the moments you are not proud of, not the moments that felt too small to matter, not the moments you spent alone in the dark, convinced that no one knew you were there. He was always there. He is here now. The same God who found Hagar in the desert, in the place where she was most alone, most afraid, most certain she had been forgotten. That same God is with you right now in this room. You have not been forgotten. You have never been forgotten. Your story is not finished. The work begun in you is still being carried forward. I wonder if you have been telling yourself a particular story lately. The story that says you are behind, that other people seem to have things figured out in ways you don't, that you've made too many wrong turns, or wasted too much time, or lost too many things to be where you thought you would be by now, that the gap between where you are and where you had hoped to be is too wide to cross. I want to speak gently, but firmly against that voice. Not to minimize the real losses or the real time that has passed, but because that voice, however familiar it sounds, is not telling you the whole truth. The Apostle Paul wrote these words to a community of imperfect people in the middle of their own struggles. People who had made mistakes, people who doubted, people who were very much still in process. Being confident of this, that he who began a good work in you will carry it on to completion. He who began it. Not you, not your productivity, not your willpower, not your ability to keep it together on the hard days, or make the right decisions, or recover quickly enough from the wrong ones. God began this work, and God does not abandon what he starts. Your story is not finished. The good work in you, the things being formed in you through even the hardest seasons, the character being built in the places where you thought nothing was happening, the depth being laid down in the silence. None of it has been given up on. Something is always moving, even when you cannot see it, especially when you cannot see it. You are not where you were, and you are not yet where you are going. And the space between those two truths is not evidence that you are lost. It is simply the road, and you are on it, still walking, still arriving. You are not lost. You are in the middle of something, and the one who started it is still in it with you. This season will change. It will not always feel like this. If you are in a hard season right now, and if you're here tonight, it's likely that you are, then receive this without argument, without the impulse to qualify it with all the ways your situation is different. Seasons change. Not because hard things automatically resolve, not because suffering has an expiration date printed somewhere you just haven't found yet, but because that is the nature of seasons. They move. They cannot hold still. Even the longest winter eventually turns. Seasons are real. Winter is real. The stripped trees and the gray sky and the way the cold gets into everything, and the days that feel the same as the day before. It is real and it matters, and you are not wrong for finding it hard. You are not weak for being tired of the cold. But winter is not permanent. And underneath the frozen ground, beneath the surface where nothing appears to be happening, where every visible sign suggests dormancy and death, things are already being prepared. Roots deepening, seeds gathering what they need, life doing its slow, invisible, faithful work in the dark. The prophet Isaiah wrote to people in a hard season. Those who hope in the Lord will renew their strength. They will soar on wings like eagles. They will run and not grow weary. They will walk and not be faint. Those who hope, not those who have certainty, not those who have proof or evidence or a clear timeline of when things will improve. Those who hope. Those who choose, in the middle of the hard season, to keep their eyes oriented toward the possibility that something good is still coming, not forcing themselves to feel it, not performing optimism they don't have, just keeping a small candle burning in the direction of morning. Tonight, keep your hope, even if it is small, even if it is tired, even if holding it feels less like confidence and more like stubbornness, like refusing to put it down even when you can't feel its warmth. The God you are trusting has never once let go of anyone who came to him in the night and asked for grace. And you are asking. Grace has covered what you were afraid was uncoverable. I want to speak to the shame for just a moment, because I know that for many people, the hardest part of the night is not the fear or the worry. It is this, the quiet, persistent voice that keeps a ledger, that recites the list, that says, look at who you have been. Look at what you have done and left undone, and failed at, and walked away from. Look at the distance between who you are and who you should be. The voice that whispers, especially in the dark, that grace has limits, and you may have found them. I want to speak directly to that voice and say, it is lying to you. The psalmist wrote, as far as the east is from the west, so far has he removed our transgressions from us. As far as the east is from the west. Take a moment with that image. East and west never meet. They do not converge anywhere on the globe. They travel away from each other indefinitely, without limit, without a point at which they become the same thing. The distance between them is not measurable because it has no end. That is how far your forgiven sins have been removed. not minimized, not set aside to be revisited at a future inconvenient moment, not filed away and occasionally retrieved when you least expect it. Removed, gone, placed at a distance that has no end, by a love that has no conditions. You are not your worst day. You are not the sum of your failures. You are not the version of yourself that the shame describes at 3 a.m., when everything feels exposed and nothing feels forgivable. You are a person who is loved, who is forgiven, who is held, imperfect and in process, yes, but covered by a grace that is wider than every mistake you have ever made or ever will make. That grace is here tonight. It is not withheld until you have done enough to deserve it again. It is here, now, as freely available as the air in this room. Let it cover you. Let it quiet the ledger. Let it give you permission, real, actual permission, to sleep without rehearsing your failures one more time. You are forgiven. You are held. You are loved. Carry these promises with you, and before you go, receive this final blessing. And now, beloved, receive this blessing. May the peace of God, the peace that goes deeper than your understanding, quieter than your thoughts, stronger than the fears that come in the dark, may that peace settle over you right now, gently, like a hand placed with great care on your shoulder, like warmth that starts in the chest and moves slowly outward, reaching even the places that have been cold for a while. May it reach the places that are still knotted, the places that are still holding on to what they need to release, the rooms in your heart that have been locked for a while. May they be offered a little light tonight, not forced open, just gently offered the possibility of opening. May you sleep as a child who is watched over, not anxious, not performing, not trying to manage what happens while your eyes are closed, not rehearsing tomorrow, not reviewing today, simply resting, simply held, in the arms of the one who made you, who knows you entirely, and who has loved you from before the first breath you ever took, and will love you long after the last. May tomorrow come gently to you. May you wake with a quiet sense, not dramatic, not requiring a feeling you have to manufacture, just a small, steady knowing that you are okay, that something has shifted in the night, that the rest did its work in the places you couldn't see, that grace was present all along, even in the sleeping, even in the silence, even in the hours you were not conscious enough to reach for it. It was there. It is always there. It does not require your awareness to be active. It does not clock out when you lose consciousness. It held you through every hour you don't remember, and it will hold you through every hour still to come. May the morning carry something with it, a thread of light, a small, unhurried mercy, a moment where the weight feels, even briefly, slightly lighter than it did tonight. One small sign that you are moving through this and not simply stuck in it. And may you know, in the quiet, settled way that lives below feelings and moods and difficult circumstances, that you are never alone. Not in the dark, not in the silence, not in the places where you feel most invisible, most afraid, most far from grace, most convinced that you are beyond the reach of anything good. God is there. He is especially there in those places, the places where human comfort cannot reach. He is there. The 3 a.m. places, the places behind the eyes where no one else can see, the places where the loneliness is so complete it feels like a physical thing. He is there. Before you call, He hears. Before you sleep, He watches. Before you wake, He is already preparing what tomorrow will need. He was present in every moment of today, even the moments you felt most alone. And He will be present in every moment of tomorrow. You are held tonight, completely, without condition, without limit. If this prayer brought you some peace tonight, if these words gave your heart even a small place to breathe, even a brief moment of feeling less alone, please take a moment to like this video. It helps more people find this space when they need it most. People who are lying awake right now, just like you were, just needing someone to say, "You are seen, you are held, you are not forgotten." And if you'd like to start your mornings here as well, subscribe to Graceful Dawn and turn on the bell. Each morning, Grace will meet you here with a prayer, a word of hope, and a gentle reminder that you are not in this alone. Thank you for being here tonight. Thank you for showing up, even tired, even uncertain, even with questions that don't have answers yet, even with a faith that is thinner tonight than you wish it were. That took more than you know. Rest now, beloved. Grace will meet you again at dawn.